The first slide is the beginning of the bus, right whenever I bought it, or right there around the same time when I bought it. I'm pretty sure it's right when I bought it because I think there's stuff that's been removed, and me walking on top of the bus, testing to make sure it's strong enough to handle the weight of me walking around. Still have the bus door. I enjoy that bus door. And the inside looking back. And the start of the demolition. I actually started with the floor because I heard those hold the smell worse than anything. So I started on the floor and worked my way back. It was a pain to remove. Well worth it in the end though. And from here I went ahead and removed the side panels on either side underneath the windows. And I went through a lot of grinding blades on that. And then from here I removed the roof panels, the inside roof panels, and the insulation in there. And that was a lot of grinding. Every single rivet had its head ground off. And actually I'm getting it ready to do a roof raise. First and foremost thing I figured makes the space so much more bigger too. And in these shots you can see the bars I actually used to levy the roof up. I had holes drilled at 6-inch intervals. I bolted it to the frame of the in between the windows and used the jack to lift up one side and drop the bolts in down 6 inches, and then went to the other side and lifted up. And I actually ended up seesawing the roof up. You'll see it in a couple later photos. You can see the bolt that I used to help support it as I raised, and the bolts on the next slide, the ones that are actually holding it in place on the upper one. And the black plastic was at the time to keep the rain out and give me a protected space to work while I was actually working on it at the place I was working at. It was actually a storage lot. I did have permission at the time. However, about midway through this process, before I did the roof raise, but I had some of the work done. They went under new ownership, and it turned out I wasn't allowed to do it there. So I actually had to end up putting all this back together and moving it to a different location to work on it. Alright, and those are the panels I actually dropped in it to allow me to drive it down the road. And this is it at its new location. It's actually about 2 hours away. I had to drive it. And here's the start of the roof raise. And I actually got a little nervous, so I added 2 more supports welded to the inside of the window panels to help keep it straight up and down. And there goes that section between the driver's cab and the back. I'm actually going to create a leaning spot for that. And there's measuring for the height. I didn't know exactly how high I wanted to go. It was either 1.5 feet or 2 foot. I think I settled on about 22 inches. And there's the jack that I actually used to raise the roof. And I actually had a jack on a 4x4 post with a T on it, and I just pretty much raised one side, moved the bolts down to the next notch, bolted them in place, and then went to the back and raised the other side, and I seesawed it up. The process took less than an hour, probably less than 2 hours. I think that taking the photos took more time than raising the roof. It's a 5-ton hydraulic car jack. And in this photo you can kind of see the tilting of it going out. And I think that might have been 1.5 feet. It might have been the 2 foot. And there's the overall height there, the inside height looking back, and you can actually see where I started adding the extra bars in the middle, and those were actually welded in place. And some of them were bolted and welded in place just to give me an extra safety measure. And the actual cuts were made staggering pattern to kind of give a more strength to the add-on. And there's, I keep having to back it down to the storage spot whenever I leave it there for a week. I was driving back on the weekends and doing work. And there's the side panels. Those are actually the inside roof panels that were recycled to the outside side panels. I figured it'd save on weight, and you know, I can't really add any more weight than what was already there really. It worked out well enough. At the time I didn't know that I had a metal store in town that I could get the sheets from. At the time I was ordering them online. There's a good photo of me looking down. Say, hey, I did it. Just moving along, getting the side panel done, getting everything done that needed to be done. And that's the roof hatch. And the window designs, I actually ended up having double pane dual sliding glass windows. I ended up going to the Fab Lab there in Tulsa to make the window design, and the design was really good to use the fab machine, but it could also be made on a table saw. And I just want to make sure I can make them elsewhere if I needed to. They are double pane. They are the safety glass that are out of the bus. So. And you can see me pulling out more windows to clean and kind of get them what they're doing. And there's a Fab Lab fab machine for making them. I made them out of Western cedar, I think. And I stained them with a cherry stain and a UV polyurethane on top of it. And maybe a wax on it. Some of the windows had some low E on them to help reflect some of the heat rays. I left the driver's cab and everything up in the front of the bus, the original windows, And there's the start of the first set of waste tanks. The middle barrels didn't actually end up working out, and I ended up using plastic barrels. Those might get changed again, too. And here is the back windows, actually in the bed platform area. And there's the hatch. It's up there. I'm cutting a hole in it. The hatch is actually in the bathroom area. I want roof access, and I actually have a deck up there now. You'll see photos of the deck being added here a little bit later on. But basically I want to have access to it, but I didn't want any outside access, and that's what the deck or the roof access is for. You have to get access to the roof from the inside or really have a really long ladder. And there's some more work on that front cowling area. Right there at the line, it had a little bit of some leaks. And there's the support mostly for the roof deck. And some of these photos aren't perfectly in order. Some of them are a little bit out. But close enough. And this I think that's the first set of windows. That might be the second set. I made the first set out of plywood, and silly me didn't get outdoor plywood and they fell apart in a month. So the actual side windows ended up being Western red cedar 2 along with everything else. It ended up being made at the Fab Lab also. They work out really good and they hold up real good. And there's one of the first double pane windows. Up front, it's actually by the dining room table now. And it's going to be a mess from here on out on the inside. This is actually, the plan was to work from the back forward at this point, get the bedroom done and closet and bathroom and then kitchen, then dining / project area done towards the front. And here you can see one of my bed platforms being made. The bed platforms were originally made to fold up out of the way. I actually have a good amount of storage. I can store my bike under there if I want. And I also have my fresh water tanks there. It's 110 gallons of fresh water. I can make it about 2 weeks on those water tanks. And that last photo is the top support for the ribs. You get more insulation value in the walls. I think I have about 4 inches of insulation in the wall, rigid foam insulation, which math came up to being about R20 value. And there's one of the bed platforms folded up out of the way. You can kind of see the supports on the ceiling, the wood support. It basically has a metal cage on the outside and a wood frame on the inside. This make it easier to attach stuff to the walls. And that's the closet area of me looking back into it. And you can kind of see at the bottom of the shot there, that's the start of the bathroom floor. And here is the start of the regular floor. You know, starting to go together with the ceiling panels. And future reference, I would have used cone groove on the ceiling, not just trim board. And that's kind of how the support of the floor goes. Oh, and this is the ingrained floor for the bathroom. I have a Nature's Head composting toilet. And I use scrap of 2x4s that I actually use in other spots of the project. You can kind of see in there looking down from the hatch. A puppy dog in the image. And more finishing photos. Bathroom area, so you can kind of see it. Anyhow, there's the ceiling. It's getting insulated as I work my way forward up above. It has rigid foam and spray foam. And kind of see the dinette. There's the last double window going in right there. Double pane. It's a really gorgeous picture window too. It works out very well. And in this image you can kind of see my new refrigerator there. And at this point in time I'm actually living and working out of it. I got tired of paying rent, so and I got somewhere nearby to work on it. And insulating the driver's cab area, get better efficiency up there. And my positive air intake, it goes through a filter and pumps in fresh air from outside. Here, looking forward, you can anyhow, so there's my bathroom done. Foot operated sink there. And live edge lumber, Oklahoma blackjack wood. Butted together, glued, and then turned into my sink. Very beautiful. And this is kind of my kitchen area. That's fun. I started my living room wood floor, kitchen wood floor. And that's close to how it looks now. There'll be a couple more, but... And there's my wood floor. I do recommend, if you do a floor like that, make sure you seal every piece before you stick it down. Don't rely on the top coat to keep it sealed. I actually ended up pulling up this beautiful floor about 2 years later. There's my wood stove. I'm hoping to fix a problem I have with it. Mainly it needs double wall pipe. They didn't have it at the time whenever I ordered it, so I've been fighting with it ever since. Alright, and the outside paint. It was painted with a roller, believe it or not. It went on very well as green Rust-Oleum paint, and it's roughly how the bus looked the summer of 2016.